What if a painting was so controversial that it sparked a public outrage, a legal prosecution, and an exile of a painter? Well, that's exactly what happened with the masterpiece we're going to explore today. Watch this video to the end to know all about it. The Naked Maja is a famous oil painting created by the influential Spanish artist Francisco Goya. The artwork was created around the end of the 18th century and certainly caused a stir in the audience. It depicts a figure of a nude woman lying on a bed, looking directly at the viewer with a cold and unwavering expression. The painting is known in Spanish as La Maja Desnuda, and it is considered one of Goya's masterpieces and certainly faced a tough time at the time of its creation. The Naked Maja is believed to have been commissioned by Manuel de Godoy, a powerful nobleman and prime minister of Spain who was known to have had a private collection of nude paintings in a secret cabinet. The painting stood out among the other artworks, such as Diego Velázquez's The Toilet of Venus, because it showed the woman's hair on her private parts. This was considered obscene and scandalous at the time and had a negative connotation, for instance being associated with the images of prostitutes. So, not exactly a painting you would want to be hung inside of your living room. Anyways, before we get into the details of the painting, let's talk about the artist who was behind the scandalous yet alluring work of art first. Francisco Goya was born in 1746 in Fuenteros, a small village in Aragon, Spain, and began his artistic training at the age of 14. He did his earliest works along with a local painter, José Luzan. After that, Goya moved to Madrid to study with Anton Raphael Mengs, the court painter of King Charles III. He also traveled to Italy, where he was exposed to the works of the great masters of the Renaissance and Baroque periods, which greatly inspired his later works. Goya's career at court began in 1775 when he was commissioned to paint a series of cartoons for the Royal Tapestry Factory. These were designs for tapestries that would decorate the walls of royal palaces. The cartoons depicted scenes of contemporary life, such as aristocratic and popular pastimes, festivals, hunting, and also bullfighting. They showed Goya's talent for capturing the details and expressions of his subjects, as well as his sense of humor and satire. However, the painting that received the most recognition throughout his lifetime was La Maja Desnuda, also known as the Naked Maja. The woman that we can see in the painting is not a goddess or a noble lady, but rather a Maja, a lower-class woman who wore colorful and provocative clothes, certainly not wearing enough clothes in this painting though. The Naked Maja depicts a nude woman reclining on a bed of pillows. She is being completely exposed to the viewer's eyes. Her pose, with her breasts and arms facing the viewer, suggests that she's not shy or modest, but sexually confident and available. She looks directly at the viewer with a defiant expression. The painting is made with smooth and steady strokes of the brush. It also shows majismo, a taste of flamboyant decor combined with unrestrained personalities. It is interesting to note that majismo is actually where the term Maja was derived from. It is important to note that this particular painting of the Maja is not a mere representation of a man's lust, but also a reflection of the new boldness and independence of Spanish women that was emerging at the time. In this painting, Goya is also challenging the taboo of female sexuality by showing the Maja's confident gaze and pale skin, which suggests her self-determination. As art critic Robert Hughes put it, she is definitely herself, alluring certainly, but decidedly on her own terms. She is not a sweet little thing, a passive and receptive appealing to male fantasy. Even without her clothes, or perhaps especially so, she is the real Maja, tough, sharp, and not to be pushed around. But who is the lady that resides within this painting? Well, the identity of the model and the meaning of the painting are still unknown. Some scholars suggest that she is an unidentified Maja from Madrid, while others believe that she is Queen Maria Luisa, the queen of King Charles IV, who had an affair with Godoy. There's another popular argument that the painting is not just a portrait, but a symbol of the political and social turmoil that Spain was facing at the time. Goya was a critic of the corruption and oppression of the monarchy and the church, and he used his art to express his views and challenge the norms and traditions. Furthermore, the painting was created during a turbulent period in the political career of Godoy, the prime minister who commissioned the artwork. He had lost and regained his position of power in a short span of time, but his enemies used this painting as a weapon to discredit him in 1808. That year, he was finally ousted of the office and forced to leave the country. The painting was considered one of Goya's masterpieces, but also one of his most scandalous works. And well, we can see why the painting could have been scandalous, that is for sure. And as we already mentioned, the painting was made on the request of Manuel de Godoy, the Prime Minister of Spain. And no, this was not the only nude painting in his possession. He had a whole collection of it. The naked Maja was hung behind another painting by Goya, the clothed Maja, which shows the same woman in the same pose, but dressed in a fashionable outfit. It is said that Godoy arranged the painting in this particular manner so that he could see the nude version of the painting whenever he, well, needed to, and then covered it up with the clothing one once again. The contrast between the two paintings highlight the eroticism and the realism of the nude version. The need for another version of the same painting to be made arose due to the negative response that the original painting had to face. The painting was not well received by the authorities, who considered it obscene and immoral. In 1815, Goya was interrogated by the Inquisition, who accused him of violating the public decency and offending the religious sensibility. He was stripped of his position as court painter and forced to leave Madrid. The painting was confiscated by the Inquisition and hidden from the public. Somewhere between 1800 and 1807, Goya painted the second version of the painting. Both the clothed and nude versions of the Maja have the same dimensions, but the dressed woman takes up more of the image space. Art historian Janice Tomlinson says she seems to push against the limits of her frame with confidence, making her more daring than the nude woman who looks more shy. The painting follows many of the conventions of nude art in Spain, but also differs from them in important ways, especially in her direct gaze. It was in 1901 when it was finally allowed for the naked Maja to be publicly displayed. It was then exhibited at the Museo del Prado in Madrid, where it still remains today, hung side by side with its later version. In the 1930s, after being approved by the Spanish Postal Authority, Spain even went as far as issuing postage stamps with the image of the Maja, even if it had not aged too well for some people, as all of the mail that was bearing the stamps with the painting were denied entrance into the United States. It was still a start. Despite the initial consequences, this work of art has inspired many artists around the globe. For instance, Jeffrey Myers wrote in his book, Impressionist Courted, The Intimate Genius of Manet and Morisot, Degas and Cassatt, said that Goya's naked Maja was an absolute masterpiece. The painting has also inspired several novels and films as well, including The Naked Maja, written by Samuel Edwards, and the comedy film called The Toy, directed by Richard Donner. Click on the screen right now for more content.